Tonberries have long been feared in the Final Fantasy shared universe, a deadly enemy that creepily stabs you while carrying around a lantern that it'll probably use to burn your body afterwards. In Final Fantasy XI, this fear was even greater, with even the weakest of Tonberries possessing everyone's grudge, an attack uniquely based on how pissed off they were at you as a race. So it should come as no surprise then that the frickin' deep dungeon home of death that they all live in is an especially feared location, and as with most dangerous locales, harboring even greater rewards. So hey guys, it's Huntin for Games. Welcome back for another Notorious Monster video with the Temple of Uggalepih special. I spent far too much time in this hellhole due to artifact missions, summoner duties, and of course, Notorious Monster hunting. Notorious Monsters in the Temple varied from only passingly difficult to some of the hardest Notorious Monsters in the game, but today we're focused on a few in the mid-60s that were all incredibly profitable, and of course, incredibly dangerous. So let's kick it off with one of my favorites, Sozu Terrorberry. Terrorberry was a little summoner bastard that dropped the Light Spirit Scroll. Spirits have gotten the short end of the stick for years, but if there was ever one that was at least mildly useful, it was the Light Spirit. That made it sell pretty decently, and its scarcity only added to that value. Terrorberry was a pain for the same reason most of the NMs were a pain. You had to kill a bunch of Tonberries to get them to pop. In doing so, you'd have no choice but to build up hate against them, leading to a solid chance that everyone's grudge would annihilate you once he finally showed up. On top of that, Terrorberry liked to astral flow. You know, the summoner 2 hours that was destroyed Link Shells and Dynamis and ruined poor summoners' chances at carbuncle mitts for years. This guy likes to cheer you up with it a bit after throat stabbing you to near death. All this for a scroll that wasn't even that useful. But that's the way of the Tonberry. The next one is one of the most famous in Vana'diel, Sozu Rogberry. For those that don't remember or just have mixed them up with all the other almost identically named Tonberries, Rogberry dropped the Thief's Knife. For a time, one of the most expensive items in the game, and all because of that little enhances treasure hunter line, a description no one fully understood for years. At one point the drop rate was almost impossible, and while stats on the knife itself were mediocre at best, the dagger could pave the way for riches beyond your wildest dreams if you actually got it to drop. Then one day Square Enix woke up and felt bad for all the thieves without the knife being refused from Link Shells in the endgame, and made the drop 100%. Overnight the prices plummeted to practically nothing, and thievery was never the same. How much it actually impacted drop rates was always under debate, as was the treasure hunter itself. Some thought it added a mere 1%, which on a drop rate of 60% was almost meaningless, but on a drop rate of 1% would essentially double it. Others thought it was mostly a placebo either way, but that won't stop my friends from telling and retelling the story of our fight for the Assault Chicken where I forgot to bring the Thief's Knife, and yes, we failed to get the drop. The frustration that day was real, and to this day, did you bring the Thief's Knife is often the first thing said in a party I join, regardless of what job I'm on. Rogberry himself wasn't actually that bad as far as Tonberries go, using an annoying but otherwise meaningless perfect dodge halfway through the fight. He also was spawned by a pop item. It wouldn't let you get around that building up hate problem with the Tonberries because you still had to farm for it, but you could at least reset your hate before fighting him if you wanted to. Fighting a room of people to trade for that pop item spot though was always a pretty fun time. Oh, I love those 3 question mark spots. Which brings me to my absolute favorite on this list, Sozu Sarberry. Sarberry failed to ever give up his prized possession to me and has successfully killed me a number of times due to bad links or a Majingakure to the face. He dropped a number of ninja scrolls that varied in value, but his big moneymaker was the 1.3% drop rate Hocho, the cooking katana. This was one of the weirdest items in the game, a ninja katana only wearable by ninjas at 57 that enhanced cooking skill. And when I say 57, I mean anything past that, but you had to have a ninja at 57 for cooking, unrelated to ninjas. Crafting in Final Fantasy XI was like anything else in Final Fantasy XI, in that you were always looking for and willing to pay for even the slightest edge. In this case, +3 skill in a craft where there was none previously in that slot caused chef wannabes everywhere to level a ninja just for this. If it gave even the slightest more likelihood that an HQ would occur, it was worth it. But you would pay for it because the Hocho was expensive. I mean, drop rates and the obvious benefit aside, this Notorious Monster was also kind of a pain. His respawn has been recorded as high as 14 hours, although it could be as low as like 5 minutes in theory. His spawn location was filled with other Tonberries, making kiting almost impossible, and there were like doors and magic aggro things everywhere. It was just a summoner's nightmare, and other soloers had to contend with the ninja 2 hour halfway through, which was no cakewalk. Tonberries made Temple of Uggalepih the hell that it is, with its closed doors forcing players to take off their precious invisible to check for chests, NMs, or just the right room. The fact that some of these NMs drop some of the more expensive items in the game didn't make it any easier, and to this day I always feel a little uncomfortable being down there, like I'm always on edge, I'm always about to die. But that's all I've got for today. Let me know your favorite stories from this zone, and as always, fun Notorious Monsters you're still hoping to see. If you haven't yet, check out my 4K subs announcement video. We've got a poll going to see how we're going to celebrate, so definitely check it out and choose how you want to celebrate 4,000 subscribers. I've got a few options and I'm really pumped about all of them. If you've missed them, we've been doing awesome live streams also on Tuesdays at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, so definitely come check it out if you haven't and join in on the chat. They've been a ton of fun and we love playing through some old Final Fantasy XI stuff. So otherwise, I'll see you guys all next time. Peace. As always, guys, thanks for watching. If you haven't already, you should totally think about subscribing. I've got videos coming out twice a week, and if you like this one, there's at least a chance you'll like some of the others that are very similar to this, so live dangerously. Let me know what you guys thought about the video in the comments and other videos you'd like to see. And finally, follow me on Twitter, Instagram, and Huntin for Games to keep up with all the latest stuff. See ya.